Hello everybody, welcome to part 3 in my 3-part series on bad habits that will wreck your taijutsu. In the previous videos, I went into kind of just some details as far as like how things can really mess up your structure, your balance, etc. This time I'm going to talk about movement. So my name is Darren Dumas. I am the instructor and the owner of the Bujinkan Budo Dojo located in Roseville, California, USA. I've been training for almost 40 years now in not just Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu, but also many other arts as well. And throughout all my decades of training, I have learned quite a lot of how not to do things. And have the fortunate opportunity to pick up a few things that will actually work. These aspects that I talk about actually are things that I really didn't click for me until I went to Japan. Training in Japan with the old Japanese seniors that move better than young guys and were in better shape and better range of motion and just could throw big guys all around the room with minimal effort. It was astounding to me, and some of these were little tidbits that I picked up from them, but these 3 are really important. As I talked about in the last video, what makes these 3, in my opinion, really important is that they never actually truly go away. They're little devils that will pop back in, that they are an emphasis in how I teach new students, but it also becomes an emphasis in how I approach my senior students because as you get more advanced, it's easy to become complacent and these little things will creep back in because they are natural biomechanical movements that we can do very easily, and we do them throughout our normal life. Where in a dojo, you're practicing moving in a certain way for the martial arts you practice, but you're only doing it maybe a few hours a week, and then you're moving in your day-to-day life the rest of the time. So it becomes something that you really have to be mindful about and aware of when they are creeping back in. If you're a teacher, it's your obligation to make sure your students are not developing those bad habits, but also you have to watch for them in yourself so that you are not a bad example on that, which is absolutely what I do. For my own training, I'll film myself and I'll watch for those little things and I'll see it and I'll go, oh, and then I'll start to work on that. Because it doesn't matter how many techniques you know. If these little details aren't kept corrected, the 1,000 techniques won't matter if there are 1,000 dangerous techniques, if you're doing things that put you in danger. And that's what these 3 will do. They will rob you of power, rob you of balance, and open you up to somebody who can really wreck your day. So anyway, so this 3rd one that I want to talk about, I call the push-off. And it's so common, and I see it even with advanced practitioners. I will see this because it's something that, in my opinion, is not really emphasized, but it needs to be because it's how you move from A to B in a way that doesn't waste energy, but also allows you to move very balanced and natural. And if you're on bad terrain or slippery terrain, that can create a big problem if you're not moving in a way that is balanced and natural. So what I mean by the push-off is, let's say you're in Hironokuma, right? So hopefully if you're training Bujinkan, you know what this is. If not, well, you can see what this is. But if I move from A to B, most people are going to push with the back leg to propel themselves to one side. And then they're going to push with this leg now to propel themselves to this side. So it's like a rear wheel drive on a car, right? But the danger with that is that it is relying on the grip of my foot on the ground, and it's a 2-part movement. Like I said in my last video, your attacker has 1 move and you're trying to do 2 moves. Guess where the danger is going to be? So if I'm having to push off, what I'm having to do is I'm having to build up energy in this leg, flex this muscle, even get lower into it, and then fire all of this to push myself over. And that is wasting energy. It allows my foot to slip out if I didn't have steady ground, but also it's 2 moves. So how do I turn this into one move, minimize the amount of dependency on my grip of the ground, and use this natural energy of motion? Well, what is natural energy? Natural energy is something that's just produced without effort. It's produced without having to do anything to get it. It's just there. And one of the natural energies is gravity. Gravity is responsible for more natural motion than anything else because it's always present and it's always pulling us down. So if I'm here and I want to go there, instead of pushing against gravity by trying to do this, what if I soften this knee? What if I soften this knee and just relax this leg and let gravity just take me? So it becomes a process of yielding. This is a process of pushing. This is a process of receiving. Like a yin yang, whatever, type thing. It's just, I just receive that. So that becomes a really, really revolutionary way to approach movement because it allows the body to relax. That if I'm going to push here, then there's a flexing, boom. But if I just soften, you'll find when you do that, the rest of your body just kind of relaxes too. You just move. So if I'm moving into Kamae, if I'm going to move into a Kamae from here, it becomes really easy to just sink and drop. And this brings up another important point, is that when I'm using my strength to push off the ground, what I'm actually doing is I'm elongating my limb. So when I'm here, it can be nice and low, and let's say all my weight's over on this side, and I want to go to that side. I'm going to push with this leg to take me over there, and when I do, what's going to happen is, because this is the line of my structure, I'm going to go up that line. My body will rise up, and you see this, I call it rainbows. You see this in motion with people as they go up and they go down. That's a clear indicator that they are pushing off the ground versus yielding here, receiving that gravity and allowing it to pull you. You actually go like this, not like this, or maybe it's horizontal, but it's not like this because there's no push, there's no energy going that way. It's actually receiving energy from this way. So you're just receiving energy. So you can practice going back and forth this way. Just put your attention on the leg that's receiving. You find that you just kind of relax. It actually dissipates energy because right now this leg is flexed. It's holding my position. When I receive energy this way, you feel the energy dissipate out of this leg instead of fire out. It just dissipates. So this brings up the economy of motion to a degree that you can do this with heavy armor on and over long periods without wearing yourself down. And also, it's one motion. It's one motion, right? It's just one continual receiving. Now, there's a flexation that does occur at the end because that's like putting on the brakes. You're keeping yourself from crashing into the ground. But again, if I had to move twice, if I had to move one and then I had to move again, I would use the pulling motion. So, try to stay on camera here, but let's say I yield to this ground here, I'm back here. Now I'm going to have to shift again. It just kind of keeps coming back so that as you shift here, 1, 2, see, you just keep moving. It just continually moves back. So there's no having to fire off the ground. You can just very naturally keep the motion going just by simply yielding to that gravity that's pulling you. So I hope that's helpful to you. If you're like me, if this is the first time you heard this, like I was, it completely changed everything for me. Then I had to go back and retrain all my Sanshin, Kyonhappo, and everything using this concept. And what I found is that everything improved and it became creepy. It became subtle. my uke couldn't feel my movement. They couldn't feel that build up and move. And incidentally, it's the same way when you go to attack. Practice this in your ski, in your forward punching. You got all this weight back here and you're going to do a forward punch. Are you pushing off with this weight? Launching yourself forward. That is dangerous because what if I'm on slippery ground, but also I have to charge this up and my body will actually flex right before I do my punch. It's a telegraph. But what if I yielded here, softened this, and shifted forward? And then as I did that, then execute ski. So that becomes less detectable. Becomes, like I said, it becomes creepy. You're entering their effective, or your effective space. You're entering in their defensive space in a way that's not this big burst. It's very stealthy, and then boom, you fire that punch or that weapon through that space, and it becomes more difficult for them to defend. So anyway, I don't want to go too far into that. That's more advanced teaching that is reserved for my students. But I hope you found this enjoyable and helpful. Please hit the subscribe button. Please click the little bell to receive notifications. Drop me comments if this is benefiting you. Throw questions at me if you're curious about something. But otherwise, thank you for watching. And again, stay healthy, stay active, stay positive, and no matter what, keep training.